on the ground. You understand? Government ran around him, security checks, they found out that he had no foreign sponsor. But some of these young men who are doing this thing, with due respect to them, I say this with all sense of responsibility. Now, you come out, you want to do a protest first of all. You go and pay people to come and, most people are not even coming out to protest genuinely from their hearts. You recruited them. A young man was coming from, Dubai, you saw the airport was free because he had to sponsor 1 or 2 people with t-shirts and whatever, paid flight for them to come and welcome him. That is not genuine. A genuine protest comes up when people consciously, I don't even know, when we get there, you see the leader. A good example, was the NSAS, whatever as case may be.
2020.
That was hijacked.
You understand? It was never hijacked because of, the political whatever as the case may be. But that was a genuine one. If we had built on it, that hijack would have, they would have killed, but it would have continued. Why did it not continue? There's something that, broke the back of the camel. You understand the point now? So we have situations like that. The Martin Luther King talking about, he paid dearly with his life. But you see, it was after then that people now the American began to realize that, oh look, this man lost his life. It is sympathy now came in, and that particular movement now turned into law that is in operation today. You understand? So we have people in Nigeria here who are opportunists. For instance, when we were in school in those days, we were activists, senior leaders coming out and say, we are going to protest. We say, no problem. We go out and we do the protest on the road. We do not, we don't, vandalize things. We just go to government house, speak to them, block the road and go back. But in Nigeria here, what happens? You now see that if you want to protest today at Rumola, I cannot even go to Rumola again. Even those who are not, affiliated with you, you can't even go out. I drive past whatever as case may be. The so-called peaceful protesters will either vandalize my car or disrupt my movement and say, why have I not joined them? You understand the point? So that is why you find out that it does not work, and it will not give opportunity for government to now come and do what now, infiltrate and begin to destroy it as case may be.
It's not partly due to the ignorance of the citizenry about our legal rights, and that it behoves on us to defend it. Like you said, the law is an ass. It doesn't work itself. Someone has to apply it, work it, make it effective.
The problem we have, I've said this, is that we lack that. We need what we call ethical revolution. That ethical, what I'm talking about, we had it in the 70s. NANS, as we call students, whatever,
students.
They were never friends to politicians.
Today, their leaders are.
But today, the leaders of NANS are, you see them in Aso Rock. You see a Nancy that driving a Maybach. You see a Nancy that will have a car, put a 001. In those days, go and ask people like Shadow Okio. You understand the point now? And so, Ebenezer Baba Tokpe.
Sure, it was too. From
I understand that was the Jay-Z's or there's something about the old school.
Okay.
These people that did Ali Must Go.
Okay.
They didn't have even bicycles. You understand? Professor Escotoyo was still wearing Betlus slippers because they didn't need anything. They saw the politicians as those who have, degraded, Nigeria to that bestial level. I remember when Professor Ali Mazrui did a documentary in the 70s on Africa, and he called particular Nigeria and said Nigeria is a garden of Eden in decay. At the end of the day, during the Ali Must Go, whatever, that became the sing song for students who were activists. You see, students will say, we are going there today, and that man must go, Ali must go. You might kill us. They kill people. You understand? But at the end of the day, they were not hobnobbing, with the politicians. Quite diametrically opposed to what is happening today. A right activist is riding a Range Rover. I'm telling you, in Nigeria today, I see them as, executive political activists. A right activist is wearing a suit of about 500,000 naira. You understand? The wristwatch he is wearing is about 1 million to 10 million. Then you call people. No, The proletariats will not even want you to be there. They see you as an enemy. I told them, I said, let me tell you something. If genuine revolution start today, if you have an item that could be stolen from you, you are a bourgeois, you go down with the revolution. Because the proletariat will see you as an oppressor. I've told my friend, I said, look, the moment you walk on the street and you see somebody come to you and steal your phone, it means that you have something of value and you are a man of value. If a genuine revolution start today, we are going to be consumed. They will run away. Because the report are going to take over that this is not this what you are seeing. You understand? The Tiananmen Square, you can in China, it's not happen. According to the constitution, there are limitations that if this happen, you can't talk about your right as case may be. Now in this instance, now let me tell you what that particular law, even though there's no open law that has been concepted by you bring up, conceived, let me use the word, by the legislature. The courts have heard, yes, you can video police or security officers, but that same law says in as much as you are doing that, don't obstruct their duties. Is that not very difficult?
It is complicated. Is
it not complicated? You can, I can film them, but he said don't obstruct their duties. And that was the reason why Pella, whoever that guy was, because police has a narrative of twisting things to suit them.
They said he obstructed investigation while recording.
I didn't. You understand? But that's what the law says.
So as a lawyer,
so you see the problem we have here right now.
Yes, as a lawyer, that's section 24 of the Police Act that they stand upon to claim obstruction.
Yeah.
As a lawyer, of course, he who makes an allegation has a burden of proof.
Even in the Constitution.
Yes. So what are the cases? What would they relate logically and otherwise to say it amounted to obstruction?
Do you know that I think section 30 that talks about right to life also, I am known by constitution here. If you go to section sub 3, he says that the police can even shoot somebody that is evading arrest, somebody that is jumping, that want to jump run away from justice, like court has already convicted you and maybe want to escape. The policeman has the right to bring you down. That is the exception to right to life. It's in your constitution. So you see, my own problem now is this: the execution of these particular laws and the interpretations. That is where our problem is. You understand? And if I get your question correctly, you're talking about interpretation. Isn't also good?
The Police Act 2020.
The Police Act
24.
That's right.
Where they claim obstruction.
Obstruction.
Because if there is no specific outright law,
that's right.
What are the evidences you're going to put forward to say the amounts of obstruction? And let me also point out the famous O.J. Simpson's case.
Yes.
From the shots recorded during when the security men came to arrest O.J. Simpson, they went to the court, and the lawyers had an evidence of where one of the police officers' hand was on the trigger. So it's still there on the internet. I downloaded document recently. His hand was on the trigger, and they analyzed it to say he was. They had the way of how they grade their ready to shoot. And so they analyzed if O.J. Simpson resisted arrest, if at that point it warranted him, and they faulted that police officer for putting his hand on the trigger. They got that shot from recording of someone within the scene of the crime.
Maybe it should be the police vest video or something like that, because they have every policeman has his own camera, you understand? So maybe that's where they got it. But you see, in the Nigerian case, we are not as sophisticated as those people. Our own instead of we are medieval, we have medieval police, and we do medieval policing, in Nigeria and that is why we are backward in terms of policing. So the Nigerian police is the most dangerous police in the world, apart from the Indian police. Yes, let me tell you, they can contrive. I'm a lawyer for 34 years. I know what I'm talking about. They can contrive situations just to get their bidding. Like when they say he obstructed
Pakistan, Afghanistan,
they're even getting a little bit, but Nigeria, India, those police forces are terrible. You understand? Now look at it. Now you see, this is a country where the police will go on what they call stingray. They drive around cities with their van.
Mass arrest.
They just mass arrest people.
And they say when
they mass arrest you, then they now go somewhere and say bring this. Those who are not able to give out whatever as case may be will now be taken to their cell and kept there. You understand the point? Then they begin to, make sure that your psychological state, it becomes traumatic. Before you know, they begin to call your relations for help. When your relations now come and say, we want to take this man, and say, do you know the offense he has committed? They become the accuser and the judge. Do you know the offense he has committed? You now begin to, even lawyers go there. They ask, you know the offense? You are coming. Who are you? Are you the brother? Are you the sister? How did you know that he's here? They begin to intimidate. They use intimidation as a tool or a weapon to disarm people. You understand? Now, when you ask, okay, what is the offense? Says offense of armed robbery.
With no clear evidence.
With no clear evidence. You understand? We have seen situations where officers will say, okay, I'm going to deal with you. And that is the reason why you find out a man writes a petition against Mr. A. Police ought to read the petition of maybe armed robbery TC, investigate first. But rather, based on that petition, on a piece of paper of 5 naira, 10 naira, biro or whatever pen, they leave the office around 2 a.m., come to the house and delete your place and arrest you, manacle you and take you to their cell. What is the problem? Say he's accused, there's a petition against him. So when you are in their cell, they begin to now do investigation. At the end of the day, you come down on a man, he's not even culpable. What happens? So this is the problem we are having in Nigeria today. A police force that has been lobotomized, a police force that is complicit and compromised, a police force that has become a Gestapo organization. And we begin to look at situations of this nature. You ask yourself these questions, and the questions we're asking is this: how come that human rights are taking a background in whatever we're doing? It's so sad, in my own opinion. And I feel that at times I will discuss this kind of matters, it becomes something that I feel highly, very, very emotional when it gets to this level, because I know what I've gone through.
Okay, sir.
In situations of claiming rights for Nigerians
who had no reason for
sorry, sir. You see, each time lawyers cast aspersions, allege, accuse the executive or legislators about compounding the issues of the breakdown of law and order and the failure of the rule of law, I ask the question: the judiciary is empowered and can act primarily through the doctrine of separation of powers, judicial review, fundamental rights, and so on. Why hasn't the judiciary, you have been there over 30 years, come together? You hold your annual MBA conferences and so on, yes, and so on and so on. I still say that the judiciary in Nigeria, you have failed to use your power, to bolster your power, to impose your power legally, legitimately, for a positive influence. When I hear the complaint as a pressman, when you go to defend your clients in the police station, I hear complaints, they harass you, they even assault some of you. I will hear all those. They disrespect you, they abuse lawyers. Yeah. Get out of this place, poor lawyer, church and bail lawyer.
That's right.
In a police station that you went to bail someone.
Absolutely, yeah.
You are there, they are intimidating and assaulting your client. You try to intervene, they do all manner of things. They come up with charges, spurious charges, as you have said, spurious charges, and they go to the court. Before a judge will hear those so-called spurious judges, and still, when you know that the ulterior motive is obvious, they just want to throw that man to jail, maybe for challenging them, for telling them that policeman, you're collecting bribes. Say, okay, you want to teach me the law.
Yes.
You know what you call false charges. And a judge sat upon it, approved. They throw that man to detention. So when you come to blame, is it possible for the judge to say, Mr. Police officer, you are doing your job, but this one you have crossed the boundary, I will not approve this. Go back and do the proper thing. Let that man go. Put him, you understand me? Why can't they come together and pull them, sorry sir, and say, we will not hear any case again until we get our respect from the police. You must respect us, you must respect the law, you must respect the citizens. Rather, they are in cahoots by willy-nilly, by action and inaction.
The problem is, one is the law.
What has the law done?
Firstly, the law is there. If you go to section 293 to 299 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, enacted, signed by Jonathan administration, you go to section 293 to 299, especially from 296 to 299, you will see where the problem is. And that problem has long been there. That is why you see our prisons our prison yards are crowded. Awaiting trial. What does that particular whatever say? It says that the police or any security agency that has any case or suspicion against somebody can arrest. And immediately the man is arrested, that the police or the arresting authority can approach the nearest magistrate court, what they call remand order, which is an ex parte order. That is the act is mandating whoever that is the judge, whoever, they have the right. So they come before them and say, we have arrested Mr. A. We need 14 days in the first instance to detain him pending investigation. The magistrate, based on that particular section 2, that is whatever he will sign. You understand the point? And take the man and say he gives to them, they will go and detain the man. 14 days in the first instance. After the 14 days, before the 14 days elapse or expire, they will come again before that going to say another 14 days. They will do 14 till it gets to 54 days under a law that is here. But we have said that particular law is anathema to our constitution.
Why would you come together to approach legislation?
I'm coming to that level now.
Okay.
Now, at the end of the day, we say that particular section 296 to 299 is anathema, incongruous
against human rights.
Against not just human rights, section 26 of 5, which is the fulcrum on which rule of law rests. That is that every man accused of an is presumed innocent until
proven guilty.
But that is like police is your friend, bail is free. It's just like that.
Free.
But when you know bail is not free.
Bail is not police is not
when they say you are innocent until it's proven guilty, the reverse is the case. So you understand, you made one to prove that you didn't commit the whatever case may be. This is the problem we have. So it's a systemic problem. Now, this particular matter go to Supreme Court. There's a matter they call Lafu Dejo. It's a magistrate, a retired magistrate now in Lagos. Who people were telling the same question you asked just now. I said, okay, why can't me, judge, this thing came before me. I said, can't do this. The question the Lafu Dejo was asking is that, so what am I supposed to do as a magistrate when the law say do this? And I begin to say, police, why should you bring this? Should I just release the man that they brought before, even though I knew or I know that I'm not the one investigating, but for facts before me, I know that the man is not whatever his case may be. Should I just release the man to go? If I release him to go, is it not the same you that will come for me and say the man has given me money? That was how I released him. People say it's a terrible criminal, but he got to the court just look at the paper and say, come on, release, go on bail. It became a question. The matter go to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court now came, and just like Lord Dennis said, he said that the law can be expanded or contracted by the judge in the interest of what? Justice.
Parallax views.
You understand the point now? And that is why you see when Jeremy Bentham now came and wrote about the principles of justice, open justice. You see all these things coming into play there. Now the cerebral judges, Onoegen, Oputa, assures them. I say, look, this Nigeria. See, we're not in the Serengeti. We're not in the Oka Vango, where you keep animals, where they reside. What you do is that, when this say come to you, let equity, try and water down the hard rock that you have as law. What did this man? Why did he come about? And that is what some of the magistrates have been doing. I experienced it 2 weeks ago in one of the courts in Port Harcourt here. And that, I don't want to call the name of the magistrate, but wonderful magistrate. She's done her own. Police came with the order and said, no. They said, no, there's no cause of action. Because said there must be a cause of action. And looking at the proof of evidence, what has the man done? Saying, what kind of, you arrested him, you kept him in 10 days in your place, and you are begging to detain him further. Why should I detain him? Can you give me reasons? He now went cleverly, smartly, and I look and say, but what I'm seeing here, I don't, what happened? He called the man, the suspect, said, what happened? The man said, they gave me money to build house, and one thing happened, so the money, one thing, so that's a civil matter.
And the police should not be involved.
You understand? He said, is that the reason why you brought him here? Police response, it's okay, let me just be fair to you. I will not grant it. Take him back to that place and do more investigation.
Let me come in there.
Do you understand the point?
Let me come in there.
Novel, I was very happy.
Let me come in there. In US, that's what happens. They may even know that you shot, like O.J. Simpson's case. They have to go get evidence first. Like I know that they may even know. They say somebody's all the fingers say, yes, you killed your wife. But they won't come immediately to arrest you.
Yes.
They first of all do their investigations.
You know,
we can have evidence. They will now come with a warrant and said you are here.
Absolutely.
And they put
straight to court. You are going to court straight from there.
Can't our judges come? Because to the extent, sir.
Yes.
To the extent, sir.
Yes.
That it's part of international laws that we have signed and charters we've signed, the human rights laws in our constitution and all that. We say we are responsible people, yet our prisons are filled up with people under suspicion, unproven cases, allegations, and so on, filled up there. I guess it's not amounting to breaking of the human rights that we signed charter to. It doesn't even make mess of the law that the so-called elites, noble men, learned men sit over the court of temple of justice. How just have you judiciously have you discharged your assignment as a lawyer and as a judge when people can be thrown to jail for no just cause and they languish there? And look at the condition where they had to stay. The commander in chief will not tell me that he does not know about it. The governors will say they don't know about it. So, and the lawyers wouldn't say they don't know about it.
Let me tell you. Let me shock you now. There's a particular judgment that was given by the industrial court. I think yesterday or 2 days. I don't know when it gave that particular judgment. We have been advocating for that. Number one, the system of bail should be scrapped. That is where all these problems come from. The reason why I say Nigerians are scared to speak up is because of detention. A man will look, as police come after me now, I might not get home today. Maybe I'll be dead till next year. He's scared. He begins to plead with the police. Please, how much will I pay to get my freedom? You understand? Why? Because the police has an arresting authority. And also has a dubious way say you can keep for 24 hours. Then 48 hours. That should be off.
But Chief,
now, that's why they now said that in the US and UK, you have what they call district attorneys in a police station. That when they bring a man that stole phone, you understand? The man will look at the lawyers there in every police station in Nigeria here. We look at why did you bring this man here? Say he stole phone at one market, value of phone is 2,000. You understand? He will say this is available offense. Hey, get your relations now to come and take you. He signs. You understand? But where that is lacking, the DPO will cross after eating his garri and beans and eating bar. He'll be picking his teeth and say, "Oh, you are the boys disturbing this neighborhood."
Okay, so
you are the boys disturbing this neighborhood. Okay, you keep him there first when it's ready.
Before my colleague comes in, let's look at the Industrial Court of Nigeria's order, which has mandated the Police Service Commission, the Nigerian Police Force, and the Inspector General of Police to deploy legally qualified police officers to every police division, which is in line with what you just said. Now, the order was contained in a judgment delivered on July 10, 2026 by the Abuja Judicial Division of the court in a suit filed by, I have to give credit to the Nigerian Bar Association,
yes,
against the Police Service Commission, the Nigerian Police Force, and 4 other defendants. Now, this comes down to the issue at hand. I have had personal encounters with police personnel. And the only thing that saved me was that, 1, I was a journalist. 2, I had police officers in my family.
That's right.
And by the time I mentioned one name, all of them who were on that patrol team knew he was their, in fact, when they look at the hierarchy, he was way above their pay grade. So I was free. But that opened my eyes to certain things. My story was, I went out then I was in college, with my sick girlfriend to the hospital, medication. On our way back, I decided, because I was working and going to school at the same time, let me stop by a cafeteria, get food for her while I return back to the office. I also remembered at that instant that my backyard needed clearing and I didn't have a machete in the house. So I stopped an aboki who was selling.
Yes.
And I bought one. Upon getting to the eatery, the security guy said, "Oh, we don't allow people to go in with this." So I left it with him. But upon coming out, the SARS, that was back in 2014, the SARS vehicle that was parked there, the young man told me they came, collected the machete. So I went to them. The moment I went, I was handcuffed. And what was the allegation? That I am the criminal. They got intel was coming to people in that place.
Allegation, yes.
So I asked, with what? In a place that everybody in that area knows that this SARS vehicle is stationed here 24/7. Who comes to a fight with a machete when there are AK-47s by the Nigerian security police?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, that opened my mind to what every Nigerian most Nigerians are going through. Now, the question of the rights of every Nigerian is something that the Nigerian police force is being employed to protect. But in the line of duty, they are the ones violating this right. So where then, or how can Nigerians, the common man in quotes, demand for his right without being further brutalized and victimized by the police personnel?
The law, the same law, the Police Act. The reason why the policeman accosted you or handcuffed you was because of the lacuna that was present, in that part in their law, which is a mischief that needs to be cured by the legislature. Now, what is that particular law saying? It says if police are moving now and they see somebody, you mustn't wait for the person to commit the crime, and they reasonably believe that he has an instrument like that cutlass you had with you and some other weapons or house-breaking instrument in the night, that the police on reasonable ground can arrest you. That is what the law is talking about.
But as at the same time, you had aboki who were running the arrested.
That's the problem. So you find that is what the police act gives them that room.
Selective justice.
That's why you see a policeman will just dive in and stop by and say, "Excuse me, come. What's in your bag?" You understand, which is illegal, but they have kind of exploited that particular part of the law to now say based on reasonable suspicion. And even as it is, people think the judiciary is not doing. The courts have said that reasonable suspicion is not just suspicion of any kind. That it must be reasonable that a reasonable man, because for instance, if they have used reasonability in your matter, they know that this afternoon and this is a cafeteria, you want to go and buy whatever. A man that has the machete, then they accost him and say, "What are you doing with this whatever?"
A gentleman.
Oh, explain. Oh, I want to cut my whatever as case. Okay, they give you back. They look at you as there's no person. They give you back your whatever and say, "Thank you very much," and go. But they exploit it. The reason is because they have seen that as an avenue for them to make, extra policing funds.
Chief, I would love to ask this question. When the Nigerian police was formed 1930, May or so, bail was free to the latter, and proper investigation was also given the place of people that are charged of offenses that they didn't even commit. Police force was what we envisioned it to be then. So what changed? Because the police force we know now, whether you're wrong or right, for the fact that you have a relative, you can pick up anybody, and that person might end up being in jail. After police, they might just push the person to a prison yard where you see them keep there no lawyer to come take over their case and all of that. How did we get from the 1930 police that was meant to serve the people, protect the people, to what we have today, to some police officers which are criminals, kidnappers? How do we change the narrative?
Now the problem we have and what changed was that Nigeria operates two systems of criminal justice system. Like in the northern part of Nigeria, they operate the criminal code or criminal procedure, whatever is case may be. In the southern part, we operate the Criminal Code Act. And these two laws are diametrically opposed. They are different to each other. Now, what form an offense in this northern part may not be so in the other area. And from practice, I found that this issue of bail, extortion, etc., happens mostly in the southern part of Nigeria.
A lot.
In the northern part of Nigeria, I don't see, rampant cases of people saying that they've been there, they refuse to grant them bail. I have practiced in one of the northern part of Nigeria. If they arrest anybody, then once the district head of the community or the area the person resides comes to the station, they release the person to him without even asking for money. They just release those suspect to them because it's the affair or whatever they call him. He's respected in the community. There they release, but in the southern part it does not happen. Even if your king comes to the station, they'll say, "Oh, guy, he's a criminal." They must extort and take that money from him. So the criminal justice system, I think that is what has brought this dichotomy and this problem. Because you see, the moment we got independence, we now have to go back and say independence means that all British and colonial, laws, whatever, we have to amend them or abolish, or as the case may be. So that was what brought all these things. And that is why you see the police people who are serving in Sokoto, for instance. If you see them, they are well behaved and well respected. They are not as corrupt as, I'm using the word, very carefully, as we have here in the southern part, because they still follow the system. And the people there cannot, if see an outside man, no, I'm sorry using the word, the northern people there, you arrest the second and pay, they will not pay you 100,000 naira. They will not pay you 100,000 to get their brother out. So that is why you see most times, so they say, bring him if you don't bring, they come in there and do whatever, use unlawful means to get him out. You understand? So the police know what they are facing. So that's why they don't practice it. It's not rampant there.
Okay, so
but the second part of Nigeria, they just hold it as an institution.
All right, Chief, as we wind down in the conversation, last week Femi Falana was trending because of a comment he made in terms of with regards to terrorism financing, where he dared one of the leading figure, talking about Ali Sharif, to sue him if he thinks what he is saying is not true. Now, in his comment, Falana said that as Nigerians, as far as terrorism financing is concerned, that Nigerians know, and Ali Sharif is one of the person that the Nigerian government needs to pay attention to. A lot of people had anticipated we'll see illegal suits flying around, but up till this moment, we're yet to see anything. Now, I'm bringing that story up to ask a question. The insecurity situation in Nigeria has skyrocketed. As a matter of fact, over the weekend, Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation, has been trending over an altercation that happened between himself and the presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Story has it from the Peter Obi axis that his vehicle did not stay within the airport entrance enough to necessitate it, or to have necessitated the clampdown on his vehicle tires. Whereas Festus Keyamo is saying, look, the presidential candidate overstayed his welcome and was constituting nuisance to other users of the airport. On the two sides, the question also down came in. The minister went ahead to release airport CCTV footage in an attempt to clarify his standpoint. Meanwhile, we have seen different incidences that have happened in Nigeria, some that were very, very serious threats to the safety of the airport users. But we didn't see the aviation ministry or the aviation minister release footages, even when Nigerians were calling for it. So the question is Peter Obi's life not being threatened by the APC administration through the action of Festus Keyamo?
All the major politicians and their lives invariably are being threatened. Those are threats. This is a political, time. You understand the point? Now, we should be very careful when we talk about threat to life, because it's a very serious matter. Now, because when you say your life is being threatened, if anything now happens to you tomorrow, you say, I said it, he said it before. So we should be very careful, especially politicians, when they use those words. They should know that they are leaders, as the case may be, because I have periscoped and even talked about this P2B and the aviation ministry, whatever as the case may be. The two sides are politicking, in my own opinion. The two sides are politicking. One thinks that yes, he's a candidate, he needs to be given, some niceties and some appurtenances, being that he is so person, well known as the case may be. The other one feels that no, the law must take its course. Now people are now looking to say that no, even we know that the law must take its course, there must not be selective amnesia and justice being dispensed, the way it is. So you find that, emotions, may boil over, in situations of this nature. What is supposed to happen? I have said that if Festus Keyamo felt that a man has breached the whatever his case may be, let him go to court and prove his case. Then maybe Obi will appear before them, or anybody at all, or maybe the driver will appear before the panel or the court and say this is not what happened. Then let be an independent arbiter that will resolve all these things. But throwing banters and narratives here and there, for me, is getting so political. Now, the political lithosphere in Nigeria is becoming so nauseating. I hope it will not get to the point where the 1972 Watergate whatever scandal situation, comes in. Because you look at these big brats, whatever they do now, Obi will say life is interesting. Tinubu and his people will now say no, we are not threatening his life. On the narrative, nobody is talking about the good, how they're going to project this country and take us out of the woods, as the case may be. So politics is being played. Let me not get to that, gate as we talk about. For me, that has even overshadowed the Bajabiamila, whatever as the case may be, the narrative. And I told somebody that Nigeria has 2-week syndrome of, periscoping issues of this nature. I said this, Bajabiamila, whatever, will go underground very soon. You might not be hearing about it again. And this is one of the reasons. Obi versus Yamo Matana has now, sunk that into the underground. Nobody is, paying attention to that again. So these politicians should just normally play their politics in a very decorous manner. At least a modicum of issue is what we expected from them. I don't want to validate any of them to say this is what is happening, but in my own opinion, for me, it is becoming nauseating. Okay. Because that is what fills the air right now. You see the other man. Look at the girls that were released. Nobody's talking about it. We're prescribing some things that are not really for me. I feel like they're not very important. Open and close. There should be legacy, talks, not talks on these shibboleths around issues or personal whatever as case may be. Okay. In a nation like Nigeria, we need to grow more than this.
Now, just before we take our last shot, as we wind down, Chief, the ICPC is set to arraign the ex-minister Naji today, and of course, DG Adeniyi, the man from the PFIPC that you just highlighted this morning. But there have been concerns from Nigerians, from civil society organizations such as CRAP. We've also had the likes of Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi calling on the Nigerian president to first and foremost suspend Femi Gbajabiamila from his office to allow for proper independent investigation. They've also said the ICPC, which is an arm of the federal government, should not be the one investigating Gbajabiamila and the Prince Adeniyi over this issue. Now, looking at all the facts that are available, one man gained access to appointment letter from the presidency. The same man was able to open a CBN account that is mandated for government agencies. He had all the criteria, met all the criteria, got all the signatures. The same man had an office in a complex that is designated for government ministries, departments, and agencies only. And then all of a sudden, government comes out to say, look, this man is fake. And they are giving Nigerians a reason to say, oh, he forged. He found his way to meander through the different legal documents. Doesn't this make Nigeria the biggest joke of the century, in the 21st century? That one man is able to do all of this in an administration led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And yet, we are playing politics with it.
It's akin to 1872. There's an American president, his name is Ulysses Grant. I think he's the 18th president of America. There was a scandal called the Mobile Credit scandal. You know what happened? I don't know if they read that script, and that is what they played back here. A particular man who was close to Congress and executive, went in, inflated contracts, and got money to construct a railroad, going somewhere. Later, it was now discovered that the man is part of Congress, and he now came out and said, for me to do this, I had Congress, behind me. And this particular Congress, as they supported me, I have even turned their shares that I'm supposed to give to them into shares in the company that is non-existent. That is 1872. You understand? A similar thing is happening here. Now, a lot of heads rolled. Now, what should happen here is that the Nigerian situation should be like that, but we are not as decent as we have in other crime, as case may be. Now, in Nigeria, we don't have that culture of resignation. I have seen people who has done so badly well in office. They say, they'll be waiting to say, has any court found me guilty that I will leave the office? No court has found me guilty. But I have said that in the civil service, we call interdiction. I don't know whether that word is still there, or maybe they've expunged it from that civil service dictionary. That says that if somebody accuses me as a civil servant of having corruptly done something, and they want to, do an enhanced investigation, they will tell me to take a leave for about a week or whatever, or 2 weeks for them to investigate. If they do, if their findings now come out and they now say I'm culpable, I will not be prosecuted. But if I'm exonerated, they reinstate me back, to my seat. In the Gbajabiamila case, now the appointer, that is the president, ought to say, look, my man, you are spoiling the image of this particular administration. Please, we want you, can't you just please just give me step down. But he is playing politics with it, because he knows at the moment he says that Gbajabiamila should go down, that will be a negative propensity for his campaign, whatever, 2027. So he does not want the opposition to now say that is self-indicting. And there's a word I want to use, introponitive. You know what introponitive means? When I begin to examine myself and self-blame myself. People will say, can't you see they are guilty? That's why I told the man to go down. Opposition will use that against them. This people play politics with everything. Ordinarily, the man that appointed you shall say, step aside. 2, a man that has conscience, should have said, oh, look, this is a disgrace to my person and persona. Let me just step aside. We don't have sort. In China the other day, and Japan, there's what we call harakiri, suicide. I'm not encouraging that they do that here in Nigeria, but that is what happens there. A man, just 5,000 pounds, that allegedly, it was not even proven yet, allegedly that he collected from a businessman, a contractor. The man went to this 70-something floor. I want to commit suicide before he was now arrested, because he said death before dishonor. You understand the point now? Death before dishonor. I'm not asking them to go and die, but politically they should just kill themselves politically and say go by the side. That is why you see today somebody won election from the prisons. A man that was said to won election in Nigeria of today. A man, a highly placed politician who was convicted and sent to prison, is a main party man, board of trustees, a member of a political party in Nigeria today. And people are telling me that we have culture of resignation, and we have people with humility, people with integrity is very scarce to find in Nigeria today. As case maybe, it's a big problem we're having. And now, if I want to encapsulate and finally say what I want to say in all of these things, we have a dishonest establishment system in Nigeria today. And that is why you see, we wake up in the morning, you hear one particular scandal come before it dies off. The question I've asked is this: what has happened to that boy that police shot at Delta State? That internationally made waves. At the end of the day, Nigerians, I don't even know whether we will remember the matter again. Chief, it's the same thing that's going to happen here.
Chief, I'd love to ask a question still on this line. Do you have faith in the president? Do you think that this case of Femi Gbajabiamila and the prince will actually have a way through as he should be, like justice will uphold itself, or it will die or water down like the normal Nigerian syndrome?
He's already dead. He's already dead. You know why I'm saying that? Let me tell people who are saying set up administration inquiry. The Supreme Court has even said in the Amechi case that the state government or federal government has the right, intrinsic in the constitution, to set up panel. You can't even tell them how to set it up. They just set up panel and put it there. And if the panel comes out with their white paper, they submit to president, he will keep it under his seat and put his foot on top of the document and tell to go and do whatever he want to do. And without that particular inquiry paper, how do you prosecute Gbajabiamila and the rest of them? Okay, so it's something that is self-destructing.
Okay, sir. Talking about rule of law and effective law and order in society. In Peru, the president, Dina Boluarte, her private residence was invaded, as it were, by the police on suspicion of illicit corruption, because she did not they suspected that she did not disclose a certain Rolex wristwatch which they saw on picture. In the case of the learned sage, legal sage, Falana, SAN, calling out a top elite from a politician, a former governor, Ali Modu Sharif, to say, I have evidence. You are a sponsor of Boko Haram. Challenge me in court. The same way the relevant security apparatuses in this country go after the so-called Yahoo boys, like the way they went for him, that just bought a machete for private use without anybody inviting them.
And he was
Shouldn't they have gone for the two of them? I said for the two because he who makes an allegation has the burden of proof. To say, Mr. Falana, come. Ali Modu Sharif, come. What are the issues we are hearing? They're talking about terrorism. Shouldn't they proactively? Should they wait for anybody to go and ignite a court case first, or court process, or get an arrest warrant? Did they wait for arrest warrant before they went to arrest him for his machete that he bought, or the people they search their phones on the road who are just passing on reasonable suspicion? Or is it because is it selective justice?
These are big men. These are, these people.
So are we serious?
These are gongon medusas. You understand? You see when you see gongon medusas, these are medusas. These are people who are their spirits. Let me use the word.
But Chief, the law is supposed to be
the law respects spirits in Nigeria. See, let me tell you, the law respects spirits. Let me tell you why. That is the reason why Bajabiamila is sitting down there. If it's an ordinary man, he will go. They will arrest him now.
And probe him.
The EFCC will go after him. So he will be behind bars while they are doing that. So when these people are there, look at Modu Sharif is a supporter of this government and is a top-notch politician. Femi Falana, is a deity, legal deity. So when we go and meet him, the onus, how do you change government? When the good people just sit by, the evil men will take over and rule. That is what is happening. Femi Falana, that is, I give him a blame, a little one. As a top lawyer, the Constitution says that I have the right. In fact, the right is in me. Imposed on me to do what? Tell police that there's a crime being committed here or has been committed. Go and investigate it.
Okay.
It's a duty. It's a civic duty. Let me use the word. So Falana should have, written to DSS as a top-notch man. They will look at his petition and maybe invite Sheriff.
But that
is the starting point.
Wait for the arrest the Yahoo boys.
The Yahoo boys are these people are minnows. These people are minnows. In the hierarchy of leadership and power, they are just like the proletariats.
All right.
So these people are just like mosquitoes.
It therefore means the law has been politicized.
Nigerian law has a face, so has an eyes.
Justice
is not there. The Judex in Nigeria here is debilitating, and they are working with knuckled leg, not knees, as this may be.
Thank you so much, Chief. It's been quite a refreshing moment, an eye-opening moment this morning on this surgery. We've been speaking with Chief Asim Adams, a legal practitioner and co-convener Access to Justice International, Port Harcourt, River State. Thank you so much, Chief, for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
And yes, this is where we draw the curtains on behalf of MI, Barrister Christine, and myself. Thank you so much for being part of CEMTV News Surgery. See you again, same time, same station tomorrow. It's bye for now.
CEMTV wakes you up, goes through with you, welcomes you back home. It's all about you, for you. We break your day to the rising of the sun.